Hi everypony! Today I'm giving the spotlight to Rainbow Dash in Wonderbolts Academy. The episode opens with the main six waiting to hear whether or not Rainbow Dash was accepted to the Academy. Pinkie is flipping out over the possibility of Rainbow Dash not getting accepted. Meanwhile, Rainbow Dash is flying around boasting about herself. This scene has Rainbow Dash acting like she has since Season 1, boastful and overconfident. Pinkie was just as well written because she was taking her worries to the extreme. However, this type of panic feels familiar but hasn't come up in one of her episodes before now. Why? Well, the male pony shows up and we find out that Rainbow Dash is off to boot camp. This entire scene feels natural and built up to. It shocks the audience when she says she wasn't accepted, but even those of us who knew that wasn't possible just grinned bigger when she confirmed the fact that she was lying. Next, of course, is the Academy getting shown off leading up to... Who is that? This is Spitfire, but her voice and her look have changed drastically. It was close enough though to leave me confused. What makes this cool is that Spitfire was familiar enough not to feel out of place. Drill Sergeant Spitfire goes down the line mocking each of her new cadets. Rainbow Dash takes this like any smart cadet, like it's nothing. You don't show attitude, you simply answer the questions and say yes ma'am. This is in stark contrast to the Pegasus to her left. The orange and yellow haired mare challenges Spitfire to let her prove how good a flyer she is, which automatically made me groan. We have a cocky new pony. It's just going to be a rivalry episode between this new girl and Rainbow Dash. All that went through my head. Spitfire gives them 500 laps around the Academy, and on the last lap, Rainbow Dash her race as fast as they can. Following a photo finish, they compliment each other? This episode once more played up my expectations of a rival, and instead had Rainbow make an instant friend who is just as confident as she is. Lightning Dust is introduced, and she feels just as familiar as Pinkie flipping out due to worry did. But why? We haven't met her before. Well, the following scene is Pinkie waiting at her mailbox for a letter from Rainbow Dash. This centers around Pinkie panicking about Rainbow Dash getting distracted if Pinkie doesn't immediately reply to her letter. She offs her waiting at the mailbox despite logical argument because if Rainbow gets distracted, it would ruin her chances of becoming a Wonderbolt, her lifelong dream. This dramatic reminder makes so that the scene after next has a much more powerful impact. The Dizatron comes up next. A peculiar machine that spins the Pegasus around and around before releasing them to recover from a fake spin-out. Rainbow Dash sets a new Academy record, and Lightning Dust gets close on a much higher difficulty she asked to go through. This has all been leading up to the scene where Rainbow Dash finds out that she's playing second fiddle to Lightning Dust. She immediately goes to Spitfire to question the decision, and Spitfire lets her know that Lightning Dust pushes herself harder than Rainbow Dash does, and she was put in lead to help Rainbow do the same, and make an unstoppable team. We then get two scenes where Lightning Dust and Rainbow Dash are doing exercises together. In the first, they're retrieving flags, and Rainbow gets hurt, and Lightning Dust shows she is less than sympathetic. The second is an obstacle course, where Lightning Dust convinces Rainbow Dash to charge through the other cadets to make yet another Academy record. There is one scene between these two though, and it plays a large role in how the rest of the episode plays out. Pinkie has a full-blown mental breakdown at the mailbox, having a panic attack thinking Rainbow Dash has forgotten them because they haven't gotten anything from her. It's ridiculous, and all of her friends treat it as such, not understanding the reason for her panic. Finally, Pinkie calms down when the decision is made to deliver a care package to Rainbow Dash personally. So why do I think this scene in particular is so important? This scene doesn't have as much humor for me when I took the time to examine it. It's still really entertaining, but also feels really dark, and it left me kind of creeped out about Pinkie. This scene sets a dark and intense mood for the next scene, where the writer intentionally wanted the audience as a whole to turn on Lightning Dust. Why does this feel so right though? What about it makes it feel comfortable? Take a close look at Pinkie's mane and eyes. The writer of this episode does a beautiful job taking something we're already comfortable with and tweaking it just enough to get the effect they want without ruining the character. In fact, they do such a good job that the character feels perfectly at home in the new role that it feels familiar to see them acting like this. This applies, as I said earlier, to the leader of the Wonderbolts, Spitfire, acting as a drill sergeant, Rainbow Dash the faithful cadet who is actually able to suppress her quarrelsome side, and even Pinkie mimicking Twilight from Lesson 0. The best show of this ability is Lightning Dust herself. She is obviously a remake of Rainbow Dash, which is why she feels familiar. However, she has enough of her own personality that before the end of the episode, she feels like her own character that is fully established, and I care about it a little bit. This gets hammered home by the fact that she isn't just Rainbow Dash's bad character traits, but also good traits that are strengthened, or she has ones that are completely separate. All this has been leading to the tornado scene. Lightning Dust goes for the most effective way to get the job done. Consequences be damned. This leads to the rest of the main six almost getting killed. Rainbow Dash confronts Lightning Dust about her bad tactics, and Lightning Dust outright tells us why she, and anyone else who gets results, is right. The Academy has been rewarding her. Rainbow Dash has some of the most powerful lines in the show when she tells Spitfire she was quitting for the sake of her morals. This is the first time that she has had the confidence in herself to be loyal to herself rather than to some pony else. She has finally overcome the doubt that filled her in Mare-Duel and Sonic Rainboom in the most powerful way she possibly could. She picked what was right over her lifelong dream. The moral is properly said by Spitfire when she tells Rainbow Dash that the Wonderbolts want to push the recruits but also want to push them in the right direction. It's an amazing lesson that so many children need to know, and is delivered in such a beautiful way. Lightning Dust is dismissed without a word, and Rainbow Dash is welcomed by her fellow cadets as a legitimate leader. Perfect ending, right? More like one of the worst moments in MLP. There are so many beautiful moments throughout this episode, and so much a kid can learn, including lessons about leadership. However, the total dismissal of Lightning Dust is distressing, because it teaches a terrible lesson in leadership. Rather than try to teach Lightning Dust the one thing she would need to be one of the greatest Wonderbolts to live, which is to care about others and understand that not every pony is on your level, but you still need to work with them. Rather than some pony teaching her empathy, she is dismissed. It feels like she's out of the Academy for good, which means that her lifelong dream, the same as Rainbow Dash's, has been completely destroyed. The fault isn't even on her. If the instructors had been paying more attention, they could have taken measures sooner, helping her learn empathy. Instead, they kick her out as though that's the only way to keep Rainbow Dash around. This could have been fixed by one line of dialogue where Spitfire tells Lightning Dust she'll deal with her later. As it stands, though, every pony else has given up on Lightning Dust and forgone her, and that is unbelievably sad. The rest of the episode, though, is near flawlessly written and one of my favorite in Season 3, so let's get to fanboying. That's a new Academy record! I missed when that got memed, but I can certainly see why it did. Also, the episode is radically more serious than MLP's normal fare, with its serious tone and intensity. This shows just how capable the MLP writing staff are of going outside feel-good slice of life, and I look forward to more episodes around darker issues being handled the same way. This is Linespace saying, I have serious wing envy.